Right. Well, it's still rainy and drizzly, and it stopped for a while, and the road was dry. Everything started to dry up, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to go out and do some mowing today. Well, I just took the trailer for a walk is what I did, because it just started raining again. And I made it halfway to my first lawn I would do on a Monday, and it started raining again. I came home, and I relaxed for a little while, and now it's just been this steady, non-stop drizzle. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's just steady drizzling. So one thing I need to do is I need to flush the hydro system out of this. I'm not completely flushing it. It's a lot easier on the walkers. They have an actual drain plug right on the bottom to drain them. Now, I don't know if you can see, if I can point to it, get you in there. There's a plug right there. And I could take that plug out and drain the fluid out. It would make a freaking mess everywhere. Same thing, there's one over on this side. It's right there. And that's a plug, and I could drain them both like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just pulling the filter off this long, tall reservoir right here. And I'm going to drain the bulk out of it. Right down in this pan here. And then I'm going to put a new filter on and put new fluid in and go that route. Now this says use Quaker State 5W50 synthetic oil or equivalent. I have never flushed the hydro system on this. All my manuals say that you should do it every after the first 100 hours when a machine is new, and then every 400 hours after that, unless you have an issue with your hydros. Then it'd be a good idea to flush it out then. But I've heard it go different ways. A lot of guys I know, especially a lot of older guys that work on a lot of equipment with a lot of mowers and small equipment, they say don't ever flush that hydro system unless you have a problem with it. But it's the same kind of guys that say that with a truck. Don't ever drain the tranny fluid out of there unless you have an issue, or you'll start having problems. I've never believed in any of that. I've always changed the tranny fluid and filter, which I need to do in this before I start plowing this year. And I've always done that, and I've always done them every 400 hours in a mower, and I've never had issues. So anyway, I went and got a filter. It's like, I don't know, they're like $45 for the 25 micron filter for this unit if I order it online. Or if I go to a dealer. You can't find Great Dane dealers anymore. They don't exist. But everything is compatible with John Deere, which I've mentioned before in other videos. So I can go to a John Deere dealer and get pretty much any part for this thing that I want. But instead of paying almost $50 for it, I just go to Napa. They cross-reference the part number, which is, it's like GDA, I can't remember, some 5-digit number after that, but that's the actual part number for this Great Dane Super Surfer. So what I do is I take that part number to Napa, they cross-reference it, and it comes up that Napa Gold 1200 is the part number. And that is that's the exact same filter, only Napa Gold filter, but it is the same 25 micron filter and same thread, screws right on. So that's what I'm going to do. On that note, these are Hydro Gear pumps. You can see down there, it's upside down on the tag, Hydro Gear. Now, I believe there's Eaton and Hydro Gear. There may be another kind, I'm not really sure, but that's the main. They make wheel motors, hydro pumps, stuff like that. Every Hydro Gear that I've ever worked on, I use the same. I use Mobile One Full Synthetic 1550. That's what I put in them. Some guys I know use 2050, and that just lets it run a little cooler. But I run 1550 in all my Hydro Gear units. Always have. All the dealers I talk to, they do the same thing. So that's what I do, and that's what I'm going to use. So since it's raining and we can't do nothing else today anyway, I might as well get this done so when I can start mowing, it's ready to go. I know, I'm pretty sure the blades need sharpened on this. If I reach under here and grab one of these, oh yeah, they could use a little touch up. They're kind of sharp, but there's a few nicks out of them, and that's because I've been mulching up a bunch of small sticks and things like that lately. So I'm going to flush this hydro fluid. It's nowhere near needing an oil change, so I'm not going to do that today, but I'm going to flush the hydro fluid. I really wanted to do plugs, but I forgot to get them. And I am going to sharpen the blades, grease it up, and she'll be good to go. Hopefully I can do some mowing tomorrow. There you go. There's the actual Great Dane part number, GDA10137. So I hope, oh, you guys fell over there. I hope that the guy that owned this before me did the hydro flush on this, and that's why that filter's on there. If not, that means it's the original one, and there's like 1,300 hours on this mower. But I got this little pan here. I'm going to use that to help run it down, because as soon as I take that off, I'm pretty sure fluid is going to run right out of here. So I got it to drain down in that pan there. I'm going to loosen this up and see what happens. But, oh yeah. It's really not that dark. It's not that nasty. It could be much worse. It's not great, but it definitely could be worse. So, we are going to, yeah, it is pretty dirty now that I look at it. But we're going to just get this off of here. Oh yeah, that's pretty nasty. I'm trying to not make a royal mess with this. I did not pull the cap off the top so that way it doesn't come flying out of here and make an even bigger mess. But it's pretty much straight up and down, so you know, all the fluid that's in this tall reservoir is going to come out pretty quick. Let this drain again for another minute, another few seconds here, and then I will finish pulling this filter off. And yeah, you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it. My hand's in the way, but it's kind of like chugging out of there, which means it's getting air in. If I pull that cap off up top, it'll probably run out faster, but I don't have a free hand right this second. This filter is just about loose. I just felt it drop down. Yeah, this fluid, I don't know if you guys can see it. I mean, it's not black like oil, and hydro fluid definitely should not be, but it is a nice dark brown color when it should be a real light color brown, like regular motor oil when it's brand new. So we're going to see what happens here. It definitely is due to be changed. It's pretty nasty. The more I can see it, the more I realize just how nasty it is. When I first started unscrewing this, it didn't look that bad, but it is definitely looking much worse as I go. Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm just going to set this down in that pan. It's pretty nasty anyway. Coming out of there kind of like syrup, but it is cold. I didn't heat it up first. Usually it's the same as motor oil. You know, you want to run it and heat it up first before you drain it. That way it's thinner and it flows out easier. But like I said, I'm not flushing the entire hydro system out of this anyway. I'm not draining out all the hoses, nothing. I'm just draining out this main reservoir, getting the bulk of it out. I believe it holds almost 4 quarts in total, and I can tell by looking in the pan I've already gotten a little over 2 quarts out of it, so probably closer to 3 quarts. So I've gotten the bulk out of it, and I'm just going to finish letting it drain, and then you know what, I only have to hold this here. I can probably put it like that. I don't think it's going to fill that pan up too much more, but I can finish letting this drain now. And now I'm going to pull this dipstick off the top, unscrew it, get the cap off, and we'll see if it comes out any faster. Oh yeah, it's coming out faster now. You see that? Oh, there it goes. Now that I let air behind it, maybe I should get my hand back in here and tip this thing back up before it, oh yeah. It filled that pan up quick when I took that, when I unscrewed that cap up top. And now it's just about empty. But I don't know with this one. I'm gonna have to look. I have the manual. I'm gonna have to look in the manual real quick. It is just a regular dipstick, and it has the hashtags on it, and it's hashtags. It has the cross marks on it, the hash marks, and it says add in full. So it's pretty much just like a dipstick for regular oil. But I know on any mower that has a black dipstick, you screw it all the way in and then unscrew it, and that's how you check the oil to get an accurate reading. Any machine that has a yellow dipstick, you just stick the dipstick down in there, wait a second, and pull it out and you check it. You don't screw it all the way in to check the proper level. So I'm gonna have to look in the manual. I'm not sure that this is the same as that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna look in the manual and check it and go from there. So I'm just gonna let it sit there for a few minutes and drain and finish draining, and then I will go from there. Okay, well, I'm gonna show you guys something here real quick if I can get you off where I have you mounted. Okay, so the new filter is on there. I pre-filled it with oil. That's what I like about the ones that are straight up and down. Same thing with like my trucks. The filter screws in straight up and down so I can pre-fill it. Some vehicles, some mowers, it goes in sideways and you can't do that. Otherwise it's all going to run out. But I like to pre-fill the filter. But anyway, so I filled it up and it is now on there, obviously, as you can see. And that's why, like, some people ask me for why I use Napa filters, and that's why right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's why. WIX. They're made by Wix, and I love Wix filters. They're a good company. But anyway, so now that's on there, and I have to look. You guys know I take all of, see, that one's white. I take all of my filters, oil filters, hydro filters, everything, and I put the hours right on the filter. That way I don't have to keep sheets and keep track of papers like I used to a long time ago with each mower listed on what hours I change what. All I gotta do is look at the filter and I know when it was changed. But white obviously isn't gonna work. Most of my filters are yellow. What's that? That one's white. I'm pretty sure I have most of my filters are black. So I can write on them with that one, but I'm pretty sure that I have a yellow paint marker somewhere. Now I don't know where it's at. You know what? I do, however, have a black Sharpie in my pocket, and I guess I could use that. It's a permanent marker. We'll turn this key. 1384. 1384 is the hours. So what we will do is, if I can get down in here and write this, 1, 3, 8, 4. Now that way I'll know that last time I changed this fluid it was at 1384 hours. I will show you, if I can show you guys on my phone real quick, bear with me. Okay, trying to get you close so you can see it, but it says service transmission hydraulic fluid. This is the Great Dane Super Surfer Series manual, and it says use only 5W50 or 1550 all synthetic oil. So see, it doesn't matter that I'm using 1550. And over here it says insert dipstick into reservoir filler neck, do not tighten cap, remove dipstick, check oil level on dipstick, oil level should be between crosshatch area between add and full. So yeah, this one here, I just stick it down in there. If I can figure out where it went, there it is there. Make sure it's nice and clean. Hydro systems are not like oil in a motor. They need to be extremely clean and free of debris. Anytime you pull a hydro cap off any hydro unit, take the time and clean it first. There's not a chance of anything getting in there. But anyway, so that just goes on there like that, and I pull it back up, and it should be between the marks. Okay, what they're saying is don't screw it all the way down in and then unscrew it, because then you're not going to get the proper reading. You just want to set it on there, wait a second, pull it back out, and then check it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this, I'm going to fill it up with the oil now and check it, and it should be good to go. I've never really had too many issues. The Exmark Laser Z zero turn I had, that one took a while. I had to jack the back end up and then take both controls and move them forward slowly, both of them together, and then all the way back, and then all the way forward, and all the way back. And I do it like 5 or 6 times with it running, and that helped bleed the system out. Since I didn't take it out of the hydro units or the hoses, really shouldn't be too much of a problem. I just fill it up and I let it sit for a little bit with the cap off, and it usually burps itself out with the air. But there's a lot of videos on how to bleed air out of a hydro system. So that's it, guys. I'm just changing the getting the fluid changed in this today, getting the blade sharpened, she'll be ready to go for tomorrow.